Last night we saw one of the most shocking, disturbing, and saddening videos as Perez Hilton, a prominent blogger,
I didn't watch it.
Was live streaming himself engaging in extreme acts of self-harm.
Yeah, it's
For obvious
crazy.
reasons, we're not going to play the video, but because of the severity of this and the general message we want to get out there, we're gonna.
Yeah, I don't watch videos like that anymore. I used to, and it left me scarred. Charlie Kirk was the last time.
Going to tackle this story and give you the updates as to what happened. People magazine reporting Perez Hilton hospitalized after appearing to self-harm in disturbing live stream video.
It's so sad,
I'm
man.
going to describe for you the video, but I won't show you because they're too graphic. And last night on Timcast IRL, in the uncensored portion of the show, I pulled the video up. We did play it. Probably should not have. But I did not realize the severity because this was just a video that had appeared on X. And so we had heard.
I'm so glad I wasn't on X last night.
Perez Hilton was covered in blood and doing something weird. And we were like, okay, well, let's pull up the video. It's the uncensored portion, right? We'll play it. And it was very, very disturbing, to which many people are saying demonic possession is real. Now, you can call it figurative, call it
That's
literal,
what I think, man.
But let me read for you the updates to give you the news first. And
I think it's the same shit that goes around Hollywood, but this one, it seemed like it reared its ugly head.
And I'll explain, for those that don't know, what this video was. People Magazine reporting, Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office confirms to People that Hilton has been hospitalized with crisis response teams providing assistance to his family. Apparently, he was seriously injuring himself with a knife over and over and over again. We'll explain a little bit more, but let's read.
Yeah, that's some straight-up Return of the Living Dead 3 type shit. If you know, you know.
Perez Hilton was hospitalized on Tuesday, August 4th, after deputies with the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to his Florida home after the blogger appeared to self-harm during a TikTok live stream. After the video ended, graphic clips appearing to show Hilton covered in blood circulated on social media. Deputies were dispatched to the scene upon receiving numerous calls from concerned viewers who had witnessed the distressing live stream on social media. An MDCSO spokesperson told People. Upon arrival, deputies discovered he was alone inside the home at the time.
Of course he is.
The video.
Of course he was.
In many incidents
he's probably always alone.
Involving a person experiencing a mental health crisis or active...
Not trying to make fun of him or anything. I'm being real. Like, these people are lonely. The only people they have around them are other demonic freaks.
Harming themselves. Deputies prioritize de-escalation by creating time, distance, and opportunities for communication, the spokesperson for the MDCSO said. Unless there is an immediate threat to others, slowing the situation and utilizing crisis intervention techniques can reduce the likelihood of a suicide by cop encounter.
I wonder if it was drugs or if he just drove himself insane. I definitely want to hear from him when he gets better. But I want him to drop out of Hollywood, because holy fuck, dude.
And minimize the risk of injury to the individual, deputies, and the public, the statement added. While the assistance to Miami-Dade fire rescue deputies with the MDCSO helped transport Hilton to a nearby hospital for medical attention, the crisis response unit and licensed mental health professionals were also at the scene, providing support and resources to his family members. People has reached out to representatives for Hilton for comment. I do think it's kind of funny because it's a proper noun, People. People has reached out, because you'd be like, wait, it's plural. Hilton was hospitalized in Las Vegas with severe sepsis in March. In April, he said he was hospitalized again for a deep vein thrombosis in his right leg after a thrombectomy to remove a clot, and following a bedridden. He shared a video of himself on his feet on April 7th. Now, with that being said, there's a lot to say here, and I want to I'll explain to you guys. In the video, Perez is nude and fully exposed, taking a knife and carving into himself over and over again while moaning sexual. It
happens all the time, by the way, this kind of thing, this exact scenario. It just doesn't happen with people that are known, like celebrities. Random freaks will do this, like on the deep web is where they usually would do it. Now they just do it in TikTok live streams, apparently.
Truly haunting.
And on Discord, that's a thing.
And horrifying to watch. Now, I have to wonder if this is not the first time Perez Hilton has done something like this, mentioning the sepsis or other issues. I wonder if this man has just been mentally unwell for some time. It is
no shit. Yeah, welcome to the left.
Finally escalated to the point where he was carving himself up on camera. I would actually say it's strongly possible that he was actually causing harm to himself in other ways, just not visible, not on live streams.
Yeah, with drugs.
Some people have been complaining. Maybe not complain's not the right word, but there have been many people who are critical of law enforcement response because they refused to enter the home knowing that this man was harming himself and could potentially kill himself, but the police were completely 100% correct in this one. Guys, I know most of you know this because you've seen the videos. There is no winning a knife fight. It's not a thing, okay? No, don't get me wrong. Like 2 guys, each with a knife. And
yeah, they wanted to get him out of there alive. Dude with a knife who is unstable like that could have just went on a stabbing spree, so they'd have to shoot him before that happens. And nobody wanted to shoot that guy. Like, if you know something like that's going to happen, why wouldn't you try and prevent it, right?
you're going to get a brutal scenario. But there, you see in these movies, right? What movies are I just watching? There's like some movie clip where a guy's got a knife and then he grabs the arm and twists it and the guy goes and falls down. It's just not real. It's not real. There are a ton of viral videos explaining what you do when you encounter a knife and you run. You will be instructed by almost every single martial arts expert, every single professional fighter. You encounter a guy with a knife, run as fast as you can. There is no such thing as defending yourself against a knife. It's just not real. So when you have someone carving themselves up like this, and I'm not trying to be crass or anything, the police show up and the thought process is correct. If they try to enter the home and this person is they're unwell, their brain is dysfunctioning to the point where they're slicing up their bodies, what might they do to you? More importantly, could there be no intention of harm, but a potential threat? In which case,
or even like, let's even take out the threat scenario. Let's just say like they enter and he freaks out and he just puts that knife right into his own neck. Like, we don't want that. We don't want people getting killed unless they deserve it, I guess.
The police determined there's nobody in the building. Nobody's life is in danger. He may be harming himself, but if they go in, it will only make things worse. Why? You may say,
agree.
yeah, but what if he kills himself? Yes, but if the police open the door and he presents a threat in any way, police are going to be forced to defend themselves.
Yep.
It will only increase the likelihood
There was like probably a million factors
that someone could be killed. In which case, the appropriate response, though it sounds crazy, to do nothing. It's to stand outside. Even the act of bullhorning, saying, please put the knife away, could agitate and make things worse. So there's no easy solution here. What I will tell you is a few things. I believe that social media is making people psychotic and insane. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I think this is. This is, it's brutal. What I'm going to say is, I think that this was sexual. I think that...
Definitely
that Perez,
part of it.
I obviously we would say it's a mental illness of some sort.
Once again, I will say that it was a million factors. It was being terminally online. It was being lonely, and it was being a freak, leftoid, hating America, hating everything, hating yourself, drug use, degeneracy. It was just all of the things.
It's something is happening. But what it's just hard to talk about because the video is so horrifying. But he's moaning sexually as he's carving himself up, moaning, naked, on camera. I think this is a man who, through the use of the internet and other, I would say probably, bathhouses and other, and I could be completely wrong, this is my opinion. In Chicago, they have a bathhouse. They call it a bathhouse. It's a sex house. It's a brothel where men can meet up for anonymous sex and drug use. Now, these bathhouses claim drugs are illegal. You can't bring them in. But guys show up and just have reckless, insane, gay activity. In these places, people engage in psychotic and insane behavior that I think the general public would be shocked to see. Now, it doesn't come to the point where they're carving themselves up to this degree, but I'm going to tell you this right now.
When it comes to Satan worship, cutting yourself, that's a big thing. And there's a lot of it in Hollywood, let me tell you. That's why they always have these satanic rituals up on stage.
I lived.
And they love degeneracy, and they lie all the time, and they love to push Democrat politics.
In Wrigleyville in Chicago. And Wrigleyville is right next to what's called Boys Town. It's like 2-3 blocks away. It overlaps, basically. The bathhouse is a few blocks away as well. I had friends who worked in, what's the BDSM, doming and subbing and things like that. If you're not familiar with that, subbing, so you know what a dominatrix is, most of you probably know. It's a woman who role plays with a man and dominates him in some way. What people don't know, most people, like a lot of people who know this, who follow this stuff know, but the average person doesn't know, there's also something called subbing. That is, there are people who want to dominate, and they will hire a man or a woman to be dominant. So you get a lot of this stuff. And the reason I'm bringing this up is not to be gross or morbid. It's that when I see this video, I see a man who likely, in my opinion, has driven himself pornographically insane. Okay, this matters to the state of the world right now with the internet, with how insane pornographic material has become.
Yep.
This is, I see this, and in my mind, I'm trying to be very careful.
I think pornography is what drove people into wanting to trans the kids, I think it is that same shit. It's all stemming from the same source. demons and Satan. And you could call me a crazy Christian, but it's fucking true. You can't deny it at this point.
Careful, because he could have just snapped, right? Maybe he just went crazy. But based on what we know about the guy, I'd give my opinion on what he was doing. I think he was trying to gratify himself. I think that there's a combination of, in the BDSM stuff, do cutting. They'll say, oh, we're going to do safe practices. We're going to sterilize everything. They go in and they say, I'm of sound mind, and they sign paperwork and they say, you can cut me, but, it's got to be light. We minimize scarring. People do this. You can hire people to cut and can hire people to buy because people get off on it.
I just saw a story where a woman really had the desire to be raped and tortured and murdered, and it happened, and they arrested the guy for doing it to her. She hired him, paid him money.
It sounds crazy, but people go online and they'll watch a video of like, let's neutralize everything. I don't want to talk about it in a pornographic sense. We can talk about it in a neutral political context. There is a guy, and he comes out and he says, I just plain don't like widgets. So somebody writes an article, anti-widget guy, says no widgets. Well, after people read that article, been there, done that. You have to one-up it every time. So the next day, wanting to chase the traffic, they write another article about the story, but they say, extreme. You got to keep adding to the story. Now he's the worst radical against widgets. And then 6 months later, they're posting pictures of him as, they're graphically editing him to make him look like a demon, and they're lying about him because they're making money. They're one-upping every time to maintain the addiction. Same thing is true for porn content. So you get a guy who likes watching BDSM, and this is, you're getting lightly whipped. No.
Yeah, and is also into that community. There's a whole community behind all of this shit. It's not just like the person is into it and that's what they're into. No, they're in a collective that's into it. And it just keeps getting more out of hand.
No actual long-standing physical damage.
I've looked into this very, very extensively, especially on Discord. And there's a culture that's trying to get children to do this kind of stuff to themselves. And it's fucking insane.
He enjoys it. He then goes to a dominatrix, says, I want you to whip. She starts whip lightly. No actual bruising, no damage, just like lightly, on the back. Then he goes harder. And, now he's got a bruise, but he likes it. The next time he comes in, he's got a one-up. He's more every day. Eventually get to the point where he's like, I want you to cut me. And they're like, okay, we're going to sterilize the tools. There are legal limits. And so then he's getting cut.
Legal limits to cutting people for sexual pleasure. What the fuck are we doing?
Then he says, I want you to slice me up. And they go, I won't do that. So what happens? Chasing that addiction, you end up with, and again, this is hypothetical, a person going in their house and just carving themselves up with a knife. Then you have the live stream element of it. Because some of these people like it when others watch. It's kind of like, I know people laugh at the idea, but this is real. People do this. But it's not even that. There's exhibitionism and voyeurism. So there's liking to watch and liking being watched. I don't want to get into all the finer details. My point is this. We are a sick nation. And I believe that the root of this is the desperation to chase sexual gratification. And we have seen, it's kind of interesting as it overlaps with body positivity and like GLP-1 and all that stuff. All these women are gorging themselves. They're eating whatever they want. They're slamming Ben and Jerry's. They're getting fat.
Or doing the opposite.
And then what happens? Well, they're chasing after that addiction and they're getting morbidly obese, and then they justify it.
Yeah, it's the same with people who refuse to eat, and they get skinnier and skinnier, and then people are like, oh, you look so pretty, and they're chasing that high. And then it starts getting worse because people are like, no, you look like creepy and death. And they're like, no, I need more gratification for my fans. I need to be skinnier.
Body positive, healthy at every size. You can be fat and healthy. It's not true. You can get sick. You can die. Then GLP-1 comes around. They can inject themselves and lose the weight. They do, and now all of a sudden, body positivity is gone. It's better to be. I think we see the same thing with perversion. They keep trying to argue that it's acceptable and okay because they're addicted to it themselves. They go online, they see weird psychotic things, they read 50 Shades of Grey, they get addicted to this stuff, they get addicted to extreme forms of self-gratification and just general gratification, and then when they see in the news, they say that should be allowed. Why? Because they want it and they want more. And where does it end? Again, I'll be very careful because I don't know what happened to Perez Hilton's mind. But it ends with people doing very, very serious and insane things, causing themselves permanent injuries, carving their bodies up, not like this, through surgeries to chase after that gratification. I think we are a sick nation. And I don't know that we are going to have this public conversation or admission from someone like Perez as to what this is really about. Now, by all means, it could just be that he's suicidal depressed, so he decided he was going to carve himself up.
If he actually said what actually led him to this, then all of the people that love all this shit would probably kick him out of Hollywood themselves. He wouldn't have to just leave on his own, because they can't have any of this. They love this shit. They love when this shit happens because they're demons. They pretend that it's bad, but then they try and sweep for it. And they promote the shit that leads to this kind of thing happening.
But he was moaning sexually, and I believe that this is...
Yeah, if he comes out against all the demonic shit, they're going to kick him out. They're going to wish that he was dead. And they're going to take away all of his resources, all of his money. So he has to keep going through it until he dies. It's fucking insane.
Is all of this stuff that we see, like, in Illinois, a teacher was giving books to students that explained to them extreme and dangerous sexual activity. The police were called when parents found out what she was giving the children. And the left defended it. Liberals said it was just a book on LGBTQIA. They argued that sex ed means gratification, not reproduction. And so liberals were arguing to teach children about, I'm gonna say it, scat. Not kidding. The teacher gave children a book that explained to them what it means to feces, because it gratified some people. That's mental disturb. That you are disturbed. You cannot do. You'll get.
Well, some people are into it. You can't kink shame, Tim Pool.
Sick, you will die. And this teacher gave 10 and 12-year-olds this book.
If these kids don't learn how to do all of these things and they figure it out themselves, they might kill themselves. What is wrong with you, Tim Pool?
And when we on Timcast and Timcast IRL said, guys, this is insane, the reaction we got from the liberals and the media was, you're bigots. Why? Because they like it.
Yep.
They're addicted.
Yeah, they're demons.
You go to an alcoholic and say, stop drinking, and they'll say, I'm fine, and they'll yell at you. You go to sex addicts and say, stop spreading this stuff, you're addicted, and they'll say, no, it's normal, it's LGBTQ, etc., etc. Sooner or later, we're going to have a conversation about the extreme things people are doing, chasing whatever this is.
I don't think we ever will. I think it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse until something crazy happens in the country and all these people just suddenly go away.
And people are going to have to...
or in the world.
They're going to have to reckon with what it is they've been promoting or ignoring. And that's the issue I take with most of these liberals.
Yep.
They don't care. Let me put it like this. We call out these disturbing behaviors saying, you do not give 10-year-olds a book explaining how to eat, or that people eat feces, you don't do this.
And it just, let's even go to the where I draw the line. That's way past the line. I draw the line with teaching kids about sexuality at all.
I'm not kidding, by the way. This is not a joke. Look it up. It's a book called This Book is Gay. Look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, if a kid is talking about being gay, say, you don't even know what that means. You're not gay. You are not allowed to even talk about that. And the left would be like, well, they should be allowed to talk about it because they will kill themselves. No. Nope. They can have their gayisms, but they are not allowed to actually be gay. That is just my opinion. Just like straight kids aren't allowed to be straight. And when I say that, I'm talking sexually, not with the like mannerisms. That is completely different. You can have kids that are not gay with gay mannerisms too, by the way.
I've had so many people say, I don't believe you. It's hard to believe. See, default libs, we call it, people who don't pay attention to news, have no idea this is going on. Leftists and degenerates want it to be happening, so they will lie and defend it. And then the media will call the right bigots because it's what get clicks. Otherwise, we're going to get more of this. I'm going to wrap it up there.
It's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse.